Okay, so in today's video we've got Edward Howat, who is a sculptor, and he's on Etsy. I'm sure we'll find out a bit more about that a little bit later on when we talk to him. So let's introduce Edward. There we go, in our magical painting. Hi Edward, how are you doing?
Hello.
The reason really that I've come across you is that I was looking on Etsy for, funnily enough, I came across you as a result of almost this. So this one was given to me by Chivalrous Tube, who is also on the chat at the moment. This one is the official Skelly Grow bottle. But
is that the water bottle one?
Yeah, but as you can probably see, hopefully you can see that.
Yeah.
It's very plasticky. I still think it's good, and certainly for the money, I think it's worth it. But I think there's a fair way to go to make this screen accurate.
I suppose considering it's a water bottle, there's kind of limitations to that.
Yeah, sure. I found this one on Etsy, which I just thought was fabulous and really does look like the one in the movie. So big kudos for that. That's cool.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I just wanted to get you on, have a bit of a chat with you really, and do something that we call Cups and Sorcerers, which goes something a bit like this.
Cups and Sorcerers.
Okay, so this is the second Cups and Sorcerers. The previous one was with Harry Potter vlogger Kaylee Christensen. So Edward Howat, sculptor extraordinaire. I guess the first thing I want to ask is this your full-time job?
Yeah, it is actually. I'm actually not really fully just a sculptor. I'm actually a prop maker and sculptor.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And the Etsy part of my business is just sort of a kind of side thing. I get most of my income from like freelance jobs on TV and theatre and one-off commissions for like just anything really, like shops or adverts or stuff like that. But most of my income comes from freelance work. Mostly.
Cool. Okay. I'm insanely jealous right now, to be honest, because it's exactly what I want to do.
Well, it's quite hard to earn enough to live on, to be fair. So.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my job, and if any of my colleagues are watching this, I don't want to quit. I love my job. But no, I am kind of, there's a part of me that would just absolutely love to delve 100% into that. If I'm honest, I don't think I'd make enough money either. But yeah, I am wildly jealous. So is it that you're working on mainly fantasy stuff, or is it pretty much any kind of prop?
Well, it's like I'll make anything really if as long as someone's paying me, of course.
Yeah. Cool.
But like at the moment, I'm working on a TV show called Outlander because that's filmed quite close to Glasgow. They've got the studios in Cumbernauld. You're probably not aware of Cumbernauld. Yeah. There's nothing of note in Cumbernauld, honestly.
Yeah, to be honest, weirdly, I was looking at houses within my price range because I'm planning on moving next year. And Cumbernauld actually came up on it, and I googled it yesterday.
It's not an amazing place, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, but it was within budget. It's well within budget.
Well, yeah, well, it will be.
Maybe there's a reason for that. But no, that's cool. So you work on sort of mainly fantasy stuff.
Yeah, well, it does vary, but I suppose I do kind of tend to lean towards fantasy stuff mostly. It's kind of what I'm more known for.
Yeah.
But yeah, currently I'm working on Outlander. And I've got a couple of commissions on the go as well. One of them is a very large sculpture for a chip shop in Stirling. It's a large sculptural piece that they're going to have on display. To be fair, I do mostly do sculpture when it's freelance work. Like I said, I am technically a prop maker as well.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, because I don't know whether you know, but I live in Bristol, and I think it's every other year. Obviously, with the pandemic, that things have changed a bit, but every other year we have a Wallace and Gromit trail where they create these big sculptures of Wallace and Gromit, these animated characters, and they drop them off at various locations throughout the city, and then you go on a bit of a hunt. I say a bit of a hunt. I think there's about 100 of them, 130-ish.
Oh, wow.
And they are huge. They are full-scale things. One of them, for example, was a full-scale park bench with one of the characters sat on it, just having a cup of tea, and it's all made of fiberglass and stuff like that. They're all...
Is that those I think I've seen similar projects where like they get a piece made and they get like you said about 100 copies, and then they send them off to lots of different artists to
Yeah, exactly
I've
the
seen
same
similar
thing.
things.
And they send them off to artists who then customize them. Either they might give Gromit a different hairstyle or something like that. Or so, for example, one year they had a pirate Wallace who had a big pirate hat, and he was sat on a bench drinking a cup of tea by the harbour in Bristol. So that sort of thing.
I would love to do one of those. That would be so fun.
Yeah, they are really cool, and I'm sure you do a brilliant job as well. So with the Skelly Grow bottle, which is kind of the main reason, I'll pop that up on screen again. The main reason that I found you. What sort of inspired you to do? Obviously, the film. I mean, it's a stupid question to a certain extent, but what made you choose that as opposed to any of the other things within Harry Potter?
Well, actually, the master of this Skullgirl bottle I actually made about 6 years ago, or 2015, because well, actually, I'll go back a bit. I actually went to uni to do prop making.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that was a thing.
Yeah. There's not too many degrees for it, but they are out there. I went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland here in Glasgow. That's like a music and drama school. Anyway, graduated from there, just left. I was looking for work, and I got contacted by a woman from Turkey, I think it was, who was trying to commission me to make the Skullgirl ball.
Okay.
So that was where the original one came from. So I sculpted it out of. Actually, it was the base of it was actually a shampoo bottle that I found in Lidl. Because it was.
Oh, you're ruining the magic now. So you went to Lidl and bought a shampoo bottle. That's cool.
It was like roughly the same shape as the bottle, but minus like the ribs and stuff like that.
Right.
And the little sort of collar midway down. So I got that, and I sculpted over the top of it with some clay to add the ribs and whatnot, and then I sculpted the head and the arms, and I made a silicone mold of each piece and cast it in resin. So because I made a mold, it meant I can make as many copies as I want.
Yeah.
So a few years later, I just decided, because I was getting quite a lot of people asking if I was going to sell them on my Etsy. So that's kind of how it started. I suppose the inspiration was money, if I'm honest. However, I feel like Harry Potter a lot as well, so I was happy to make something from it.
That's a very candid response. I like it.
Oh, well, yes, you're getting all the honest answers here.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I always thought that if you made something and you've got a silicone mold of it, why not constantly keep on making them? Unless the commission was, this is the only one that is ever going to be in existence. And
well, some people are a bit like that. They want it to be like a sort of one-off item. So sometimes I can't do that, but most of the time it's okay.
Yeah. I think, now, if this is not your shop, please correct me and I'll edit it out. But
that's right.
I think you also do a Mimbulus Mimbletonia, that sort of weird cactus thing that Neville has.
Yeah, I've actually got one right here.
Oh, okay.
It's very small. It's like a little miniature one.
Okay.
I've got plans to make the full-size one as well. I don't know if you can see that. It's sitting right there.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
It's not done yet. I started that like months ago, and then I got busy with a lot of other things, so it's sort of on the back burner right now. But there's plans to get a few more items in the shop, so because I think I've only got 3 at the moment, which isn't amazing.
Yeah. No, I think it's quality over quantity, though, right?
Yeah, that's my motto. My motto.
I was actually thinking about making a Mimbulus Mimbletonia myself with a bit of a sort of Arduino skeleton.
That would be really, really
so
cool.
It sort of moves a little bit, but
I always forget it when it moves. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of like some weird pet. I don't know how to say it really.
Yeah. It's like it looks a lot like a succulent, like a massive overgrown succulent.
Yeah, really bulbous.
Yeah.
I think, is that the one that covers Neville in stink sap in the book?
Yeah, that's the one.
I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the pimples on it, which is kind of gross. But I just love the idea of a prop maker doing this sort of stuff, because I personally, and this is going to sound kind of a bit bitchy, maybe.
Go on.
I'm of the belief that Warner Brothers pretty much do anything for money.
Yeah, probably.
And as much as I love the Harry Potter universe, I do think that they cut corners quite a lot. on not on the films. I think the films are great, and obviously there's a huge amount of art that goes into making these things. But I think when it comes to the fandom wanting a piece of the magic, they're just like, what's the cheapest way of doing this? And that isn't always. In fact, it's very, very seldom what the people want.
Yeah, I have noticed that myself as well. But to be fair, it opens up a little niche for myself and other people like me as well. So I don't mind if they carry on with their...
No, exactly. And, I've got exactly the same sort of issue, really. And if I press this button here, maybe, it pops up behind you. But there are some potion bottles that I make.
I had a little look at your shop, actually. You've got tons and tons of items up.
I do, yeah. Probably too many, to be honest.
No, you can't have too many. No.
I might need to remove some of them.
No, don't be silly.
Because I'd love to have that Skelligro bottle. Well, I will be getting a Skelligro bottle.
You will be, yeah.
I bought one.
Yeah.
So,
I've already casted it, so...
Oh, you have? Oh, cool. I'm not going to sort of bother you about how long.
Don't worry.
But yeah, I am really looking forward to obviously getting it and adding it to my collection. But I think it kind of it does carve out a bit of a niche for people who really love the fandom. I guess the next logical question, considering that one of my next videos is going to be doing a sorting ceremony for a talking elephant, which house are you in?
Well, apparently I'm in Gryffindor.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did this test, I must have been about 17 when Pottermore first came out.
Okay, yeah.
I was super into it at the time, and I was part of the beta.
Oh, okay.
So I got access to the site when it first.
So was I actually, yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I was a bit older.
I did it then. I was a Gryffindor, so I'm just going with that.
And so, how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 28.
Okay. Yeah, so quite a bit older. I am. But, oh well, never mind. I kind of wear it with pride on the side of my head. So, in fact, I bought some knives recently, and the delivery guy just he was stood at the door and he just went, "I'm really sorry to ask you, but I'm going to need to see some ID." And I just went, "Really? Really?" I mean, COVID haircut aside, I've got a lot of grey hair here. But yeah,
I wouldn't say a lot of grey hair. You've kind of got the sort of Doctor Strange look, like the grey hair.
Yeah, to be honest, it's yeah, I do have a bit of a badger thing going on actually. It's sort of mainly at the sides there, but I did dye it for a video, and then I totally forgot about the video. That's the weird thing. So I filmed the sort of final reveal, saying, if things go really badly wrong, then this is the sort of thing that happens, and you become really old. And so I had really old, straggly hair, and then I dyed it, and then had it cut, and so it looked like I was significantly younger. And then I totally forgot to do the former bit, so now I've got to shave it and dye it again in order to do the former bit. But I think I might now have lost the original footage of me when I'm older, so I'm going to have to film all of it again, I think. So if you were to advise someone else to get into prop making, and someone who's really into it, someone like me, I guess. Don't worry, I'm no competition. But how would you advise someone to get into prop making and doing all of the sorts of things that you do?
Well, I think you want to be practicing quite a lot. Specifically with sculpting. I didn't really start sculpting until my last year of uni, and I kind of just discovered that I was quite good at it, and that sort of prompted me to get I kind of get a bit obsessed with things, which is handy when you're trying to learn stuff.
Oh, definitely.
So if you're like me, that's a good trait to have. So I got kind of obsessed with learning sculpting, and I was just at it basically every day for a few years to get as good as possible. Okay. I suppose it applies just generally if you want to be a prop maker. And the second thing, as cliche as it sounds, contacts is very, very helpful. Probably more helpful than actual skill, to be quite honest. Yeah,
there's that saying, isn't there, that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then, but I prefer the new take on it, which is it's not what you know, it's who knows you.
I guess it's true with a lot of professions, really. But I suppose if you're just starting, you could volunteer for a little while just to kind of get your name out.
Yeah.
And if you do a decent job, they'll remember you, and if they've got other projects on, they'll probably ask you back, likely. That's how I got in it in Outlander kind of just weaseled my way in when I left uni. And
Yeah.
like I'm not Outlander permanently. I'm sort of on a freelance basis. So
Right.
whenever they're super busy, I go out and give them a hand. But yeah, just try and get yourself in for like a week or two, maybe wherever. Like Glasgow isn't great for film and television stuff. Yeah, it's a shame sometimes, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter how good you are. You need to know at least someone to get in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose that would be my advice.
No, good advice.
Know people.
Know people. Get out there. Yeah. So, have you been to the Harry Potter tour? And if so, what did you think of it?
I have. It's quite a few years ago now, though, and I think there's been quite a lot of things added. I think it might have been 2014, maybe.
Okay.
But I really loved it at the time. I took so many photos.
Yeah.
I think my smartphone was terrible, so I was using like a little snappy number,
Okay, yeah.
And it ran out of battery like halfway through because
Oh, no.
I'd taken so many photos.
I actually filled up a memory card when I did it.
Actually, I remember now, it was my second year of uni, so that would have been 2013, because the trip inspired me to, because at the final year at my university, you could do like one big project.
Okay.
And I decided to sculpt, the Grindylow from
wow.
Fire.
Yeah.
Like a life-size version of that. And I was pretty new to sculpting at the time. I'd literally sculpted about 2 things.
Right.
But I thought I'd just throw myself into the deep end.
God, that is ambitious.
When did you visit the Warner Brothers studio?
I did it in 2018. Might have been 2017, just before I got married. But I know I've been there twice, and the second time round they had the Forbidden Forest and Gringotts, which was super cool. The way that Gringotts, I'm not going to sort of spoil it in case you haven't been there, but I did a tour on this channel actually, and if you want to spoil it for yourself, then that's fine. You can see that.
Check it out after.
I would say that Gringotts is probably the best part of the tour.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
See, that wasn't there when I went. So.
No, it was fairly recently added when we went.
I think Diagon Alley was my favourite at the time. Although I like the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I just love the way that the whole magic is kind of embraced, and it's almost like theme park illusions built into it. And I'm trying to do that in my own man cave. I haven't actually got my man cave yet, so that's why I'm using green screens and stuff.
And the new house.
Yeah. So when we move house, I'm planning. I don't even know where I'm moving yet, so it's all a bit moot at the moment. But I do have a lot of magic wands up. I've got skulls and spell books and stuff like that. So I am going to be making my own little dungeon.
That'll be a little cool.
And yeah, I mean, I've built a ghost fish tank. I'll put it as a link up here so that you can see on the video the link to the ghost fish tank. And I've also made a box of ghosts and talking pumpkins and things like that. So I am going to be trying to incorporate all of that into my man cave when I finally get it done.
Like, have you been into making like props and whatnot for quite a while?
I wouldn't really consider myself a prop maker, but weirdly, after talking to you, I kind of think that I probably am a bit.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, so I've made some stuff. I've made, as I say, the box of ghosts. That was really my first foray into anything like that. I created a drunk Santa, which divided quite a few people. Some were just like, "Oh man, that's brilliant, that's awesome." He was literally on his backside, sort of both hands back like this, and one hand with a bottle of whiskey. My mother-in-law knocked it off the side one Christmas, and it's now quite literally legless, which is a shame.
Was he one of the people who wasn't a big fan of it?
No, I think she liked it, actually. I think she did like it. But I did post it onto a Christmas forum where it really divided people. People were saying, "Oh yeah, it's awesome, it's probably one of the best things I've ever seen." And other people saying, "But he's drunk. I don't like it. It's not right. Santa shouldn't be drunk. He should be a sweet, innocent old man." And I thought, well...
I can imagine people who are part of a Christmas forum probably have quite strong opinions over Santa.
Yeah. And I'm quite a famous atheist on my channel, and
Oh, yeah.
I start to use sort of logic to explain scientifically why magic effects can happen, but magic is not real.
Yeah.
As in, you can't tap into the ether and all of that sort of thing, but you can use psychology. that sort of ethos. And I think some people are kind of annoyed at that idea. They want to grab a wand off the wall or off the shelf at Olive Amber's and wave it, and suddenly there's a chicken in front. I don't know, whatever they want to do. And I just want to say, this is real world magic. It's not fantasy. Fantasy is great and it has its place, but if you want real magic effects, there are different ways of doing that. But you're not going to get the flashing lights and all that sort of movie stuff, because that's just entertainment and fantasy.
Yeah. Some people are quite into it.
Yeah.
What to believe.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm totally into it. I'm obsessed with all that stuff. I'm a magician as well, in as much as I do card tricks and illusions and things like that. And so I would love that to be real, but I also know it's not. But there are ways of getting effects like they're real. And And I think props and what you do as well kind of brings that a little bit closer.
It's like an element of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes things more possible, more believable. And I think there's something quite, I want to say childlike, but not in a bad way, about sort of wanting that magic and trying to relive it. And if you can get things that sort of bring your mind into that place, I think that's quite magical in a way.
Yeah, I suppose for a lot of people it's quite nostalgic as well, especially Harry Potter, and nostalgia things tend to be comforting.
Yes.
So I think people latch on to that a lot of the time.
Yeah. There was one idea that I had back in 2001, I think, of a Christmas tree that hides everything within the body of the Christmas tree. All the presents.
Yeah.
And on Christmas Eve, without anyone touching it, it just disgorges all of the presents into the room. And I was writing all these different blueprints for it. And
that sounds like something right out of Harry Potter, to be fair. Like, I could see that in the Weasley's house.
Yeah, but the whole idea really was that you have this Christmas tree delivered to your friends and family, and then it just disgorges all of its presents on Christmas Eve without anyone coming into the house. Almost like a Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery, like where the hell did these things come from?
Yeah. I suppose trying to get it to still look like a tree and hold presents would be that's the hard part right there.
Yeah. So maybe a fireplace like that would be quite cool. But I'm constantly thinking of things that will look like real things that have a dual purpose, and this is one of the tenets of magic that I just love. That sort of idea. So you get gimmick coins and things like that. So I guess the next question for you really is, what are you working on? What are you doing next?
Well, I'm currently working at Outlander, which is like Monday to Friday.
Okay, so you haven't got a huge amount of time, I suppose.
No, not really. Quite tired right now, actually.
Oh dear.
And then I'm working with another prop maker called Tom Wall.
Okay.
From Strenzo Studios. We're both doing the thing I mentioned earlier for the chip shop, the statue. And I'm supposed to be starting another sculpture for this guy in Aberdeen who restores. I was speaking to him on the phone the other day. He was telling me he restores like organs for carnivals.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what that was. Like, I know what an organ is, obviously, but I wasn't aware.
So is this like a truck that has an organ in it?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
To be honest. But basically, apparently, traditionally, these organs have these sort of statues, like angelic-like statues along them. And traditionally, they're made out of wood, but to get a good one, it costs like 13 grand.
Right.
So he was asking me if I could make one in fiberglass instead.
A little bit cheaper than 13 grand, please.
Yeah, he's came to me before in the past to make a couple of things, so probably going to be doing that. So that's
okay.
That's what I'm doing at the moment, anyway. And Outlander, mostly we're making stunt weapons.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of it's always like, oh, we need like 100 of this, and it's like a storm, or 50 like rubber pistols or something like that.
Right. Yeah, because you can see on YouTube there's all these how to make a rubber brick.
We've actually got a special foam called brick foam.
Okay.
That's made purely just for bricks.
Oh right.
It's like a nice density. You don't want it to be too hard or too soft, otherwise it could hurt someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of repetitions.
Yeah. No, I suppose if you want one of something and you've got a crowd, you may as well just make a mould and knock them out, I guess.
Yeah, often production sort of overestimate how much they want as well. So
Right.
you might make like 20 or something and they'll use 2, which is a bit of a pain, but keeps us busy, I suppose.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, so I guess what you're working on, do you have any plans for the future?
Kind of. I'm trying to teach myself how to use a program called ZBrush at the moment, which is like a 3D modeling program.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to I guess expand a bit to open up into the digital world, so I can possibly get work doing that as well. So yeah, I guess long term, try and get some digital sculpting jobs. That's sort of the only thing. I guess fill up Etsy as well, because like I said, there's only 3 items.
Yeah. Add some more stuff to your shop. I'm sure people would eat it up. I'm also going to put a link down in the description as well for anyone who does want to buy your stuff. So as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Then I'd definitely like to add that as well, and hopefully, if anyone is interested in buying all that stuff, I can highly recommend it. I think they're really awesome. Can people request custom props from you now?
Yeah, I can't start immediately.
Yeah, sure. You're in high demand.
Certainly request something and I can look into it.
Okay.
It's usually they'll come to me, tell me what they want, I'll price it up, and then we kind of go back and forth a little bit, because some people are kind of, they're not ready for the price sometimes.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
It's usually more expensive than they expect, but there's quite a lot that goes into it. So, but yeah, if you're looking for something to be made, then just send me. I've got Instagram, Facebook, got a YouTube channel, so just send a message on anything basically.
Is it that you're sculpting things in monster clay and clay and resin and all of that sort of stuff, or do you use other things as well?
Well, if it's like a small-ish item, maybe like, I don't know, something fairly small, I'll use monster clay and then make a silicone mold and cast it in polyurethane resin.
Okay.
If it's something big, like something life-size, I'll usually use water-based clay, because monster clay it's quite slow to work with.
Okay.
And water-based clay like wet is much faster, so usually I just go for that. Or even sometimes I'll carve it out of polystyrene if it's extremely big.
Okay.
Like I did a piece for a Harry Potter shop in Edinburgh a few years ago. It was like the basilisk. It's like
I think I may have seen that actually. I went up to Edinburgh last year.
Oh, did you? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that's made of polystyrene actually and fiberglass. Okay. So it kind of depends what it's being used for.
Right.
Basic. And obviously I've got a 3D printer as well, so sometimes I'll print items too.
So it kind of makes sense to sort of step into the digital world as well and work out how to sculpt things 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've got a question here. Would you make a mirror of Erised and ship it to Iceland?
I definitely consider it.
If the price was right, I suppose.
Yeah, that may be quite costly, but yeah, like I'm open to anything basically, because that would be huge. I'm pretty sure that's like 9 feet tall.
If it was life size, yeah, I think it's something like 7 or 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Shipping that to Iceland would probably be about 4,000 quid to ship it, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Glass alone.
It's something like trillions of krona probably, because the exchange rate's bonkers.
Fire me a message and I'll happily make you.
Well, there you go. So Chivalrous Tube, if you're watching, if you've got the money, you can do it. Thanks ever so much, Edward. I really do appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Again, if you can grab your Skelly Grow bottle and show it to the camera, it's flipping awesome. And I'm really, really looking forward to receiving mine, frankly. That's cool.
That one's going up tomorrow. And
I mean, no wonder you've got so many 5-star reviews. So I've not seen any that aren't 5-star reviews, frankly. So I'm really very impressed. Chivalrous Tube said, "That's very fair. Thanks. That's all from me." So I agree. That's all from me too. But thanks ever so much again. Really appreciate it. And as I said, for anyone who's watching, if you want to see any links to anything, it's all down in the description. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. But until next time, as always,
Stay magical.
So in today's video, we've got Edward Howat. It is pronounced Howat, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay, cool. It's worth checking. That was the wrong one. See, this is why I wanted to do some editing offline, right? One moment, please.
Both look good.
Yeah, it'll be all right on the night, I promise.
Please subscribe to Real World Magic. While you're there, click the bell button to be notified of future uploads, and have a look at all of my social stuff. Remember to donate on Patreon if you really, really liked it, and I'll see you again next week.